What's going on YouTube? It's Adrian, aka The Judge, back here to give you guys my final thoughts over Jordan Brand's, not the latest, but Jordan Brand's shoe, the Why Not zero point 0.1 Low. So for those of you who don't know, the Why Not zero point 0.1 and the 0.2, it's Russell Westbrook's signature shoe with Jordan Brand. So what's it called? The way that these reviews go, if you didn't see the Jordan 32 review that I did a couple months ago, we go over the traction, the midsole, the upper, lockdown support, size and fit, and then my overall opinions on the shoe. So with that being said, let's get into the traction. So the traction on the Why Not zero point 0.1 Low is a multi-directional herringbone pattern that quite honestly looks really cool. It does. It looks really cool how it just like flares out like that. One thing about the grooves in the herringbone traction itself is that they're quite shallow, and for those of you that think the traction is the staple of a shoe and needs to perform well in order for the shoe to be good, that's not the case with these. I played on a really dirty court. Practically you could say it was kind of like an outdoor setting, even though it was indoors type of a deal, and the traction on these guys held up really good. I mean, I only had to wipe I think once in like a 1 hour, 1.5 hour session. So if you're playing on a really clean court or even just a decently clean court, these things shouldn't give you a problem unless like you go wear these outside and then try to hoop inside a court. But I mean, I doubt anybody would try to do that. So next, the midsole. The midsole is actually Phylon foam all the way throughout here, through the heel, going into the midfoot, and then the forefoot around right here you'll have a zoom bag. It doesn't protrude like for those of you my sneakerheads out there that like to go look at like the 29, the 31, the 32. I'm trying to think of some other ones that have some protruding zoom bags. It's really old, but the Superfly 4, the Superfly 3, those zoom bags really did protrude, and that's what kind of gave it the responsive feel. So when I didn't see that the zoom bag in these protruded out of the midsole and into the traction, I thought that the zoom wasn't going to be responsive and it was going to be hard to feel, something like that of Hyperfuse 2014 for reference. However, that's not the case with these. With these, what's it called? If you jump and you land, on your forefoot from getting like a rebound or something like that, or even just running, you'll feel the zoom a little bit. But I have to say the setup in like the 32s that I reviewed, I like that type of zoom better. These give you more court feel, which I think is why they did it, because Russell Westbrook is a elite level point guard, and I think court feel really appeals to his style of play and his game. So I think that's why they did it that way. But the midsole, don't get it twisted. It's pretty good. So the upper is actually comprised of two pieces. The first piece is this internal mesh booty all right here. So it'll go on ahead. Oh yeah, and on the tongue it says why not. It's pretty cool. So it's an internal mesh booty, which kind of like adds to like a sock-like feel, and then it's covered in this. At first I was really confused as to what it was, but now that I like really look at the shoe and really got a chance to review it, this part all right here, let's see if it'll pick up the, there we go. So you see these ridges? I'm more than sure that that is what's it called, either Flyknit or mesh, covered in like a synthetic for durability, and then this is in a softer synthetic over your tongue and over the midfoot, and where it'll cover where your laces will be. So the reason why I think they covered it in a synthetic instead of just leaving it as a mesh upper is because of, one, durability, and two, support. Because don't get me wrong, mesh is a really good like upper, and it's a really good material because it's breathable and you can wear it for hours and hours and hours, and your feet won't feel like they're in a hot box, But when it comes to like this shoe and who it was made for, I mean, Russell Westbrook. Picture Russell Westbrook trying to hoop in a mesh upper. I mean, that's not going to work out that good. So that's why they probably covered it in the synthetic, that, and especially along this the toe box area right here, because that place right there, the toe box, that's one of the easiest places for you to get like tears, tatters, or like yeah, that's about it. Tears and tatters, that type of thing from playing. So it's good that they covered in the synthetic. Another reason, just looking at it from like an aesthetic point of view, if you saw this shoe in like a Foot Locker or Foot Action, it would draw attention to you. One, because of the design. The design is really cool. It's really dope. Especially like right here on the upper, you can see that it has that. I I'd say this is kind of like a tiger design, just an all black tiger with reflective, with reflective stuff right there. Overall, the upper, it's really good. It locks you down. I'm not gonna lie though, when you first lace up this shoe, it's gonna feel a little stiff, and you're gonna be tempted to take it off and probably hoop in something else. But I broke these in a matter of 2 days, just going back to back, and they feel amazing now. I mean, I think another reason why they feel a little stiff is because if you look, you don't have access to your laces on the tongue. All your laces are all inside right here, and you just have this little toggle and these exposed laces that you can lace up the shoe. One reason why I think they did this, lockdown support. It comes down to who's hooping in the shoe, and they made this for Russell Westbrook, so Russell Westbrook probably needed a stiffer shoe so that he could, he wouldn't have to play a step down due to a fear of like injuring himself because his shoe can't keep up with him. So now that we've covered the upper, we're going to move on to lockdown support. So lockdown support is actually really cool in this shoe because you have an external heel counter right here, and it's actually composed of a foam, and it's pretty soft. And one thing that makes the heel counter on this shoe look so cool is, I mean, there we go, you can see that reflective Jumpman logo right there, and if I can get it, there we go, there's these awesome little, it's kind of like ripples in the actual heel counter, and this just adds to the aesthetic appeal of the shoe a lot. It makes this shoe look more aesthetic. Like, I've seen people on college campus, rock these just as a casual shoe, and it legit looks like a good casual shoe that you could rock, especially if it's like an all white or an all black, or even a black and white or black and gray. This one, of course, I'm not going to rock this one as a casual shoe. This one will be a strict performer. But also, if I can show you guys right here, trying to make it so you guys can see it. Man, it's kind of hard with the black. There we go. A little bit. This part right here, it's actually a good heel counter, and if you if you feel it, your Achilles is padded really good. That's one thing I'll give this shoe mad props to. The padding in this shoe is really good, especially for a low cut model. Like your Achilles, it's padded perfectly, and then once you slide this in, your heel literally slides, falls into this little heel counter, and it's locked in for good. Like, they won't come off, they won't get loose. Like, that's the best thing I've ever had in a basketball shoe, is not having to retie my laces or think like, oh man, this shoe's getting a little loose, I need to retie it, type of a feel, just because of the heel counter. Like, this thing, I could probably rock this unlaced and still manage to hoop a little bit, sacrificing like a little bit of support. So lockdown, really good. Ankle support in this shoe, like I said, it's a low, so ankle support isn't really the ideal thing, but you do have these little little kind of like ankle collars. It kind of surrounds your ankle like that, and it actually has some padding to it, not a lot, primarily because this is a low cut model, it's not a high top, it's not a mid, so ankle support in this specific model wasn't the stress point of the shoe. So it still pads around your ankle, of course your Achilles, but overall this shoe will give you probably one of the best supporting shoes I've ever hooped in. Like, the support in this shoe is probably up there with the only other shoe that I've hooped in that probably gave me this type of feel for like support. Gotta be either the Jordan Mellow M12 or the Jordan 31s. And that's just because they had extra padding so that it would pad, literally around your ankle. So, I mean, The lockdown support in this shoe, really good. So size and fit, the second to last aspect of this shoe. Size and fit, it runs true to size. It doesn't run narrow. I'm surprised that it didn't run narrow. I mean, judging by the fact that this is kind of built off Russell Westbrook as well, I would figure that it would be kind of like his foot pattern. It's not. Arch support in this thing is good. Mad props to the people who designed this shoe at Jordan Brand because they did a pretty good job. So my overall opinions on the shoe, the traction, like I said, it's really good. I love this traction. The midsole, it could be better, but I kind of like the court feel. I float in between, you know. I like to have a good court feel with my shoes, but I also, on some days, like to have more padding with my shoes. Lockdown support, the heel counter, once your foot goes in, they're going to have to like pry this shoe off of you with a crowbar practically, because there's no way your foot is coming out of this just from running, playing, and like, what's it called, accidentally like getting stepped on like right back here. It won't come off, trust me. This shoe is really good. Size and fit, it's really excellent. It runs true to size. So I know I came up with a 3-tier rating system in the Jordan 32. I'm going to change that just a little bit. I'm just going to give it some different names. So we're still going to have the 3 tiers. The bottom being absolute garbage, which pretty self-explanatory. The shoe does not perform close to what the retail market is what's called selling it for. So that's pretty self-explanatory. The next one is going to be decent. I mean, the main reason is just because like it performs to what the online specs of the shoe say. Like, oh, it says it has multi-directional traction pattern, you know, herringbone traction pattern, that type of deal. So decent, just meaning it performs to what the online specs say. And then I know our top one, I want to say, was superior or A1. I'm changing that to fire. And this shoe right here, it's got to be probably in the fire rating, just because I have not experienced a shoe since the Mallow M12 and the Jordan 31 to give me such good lockdown support that like once my foot was in, I felt so secure that I was confident even playing in these shoes unlaced. So with that being said, the price point of this also will affect its rating. I picked these up for I think $85 on Eastbay. Sadly, I just checked Eastbay today. They do not sell this shoe anymore, probably because it's about 2 years old or a year and a half old. Now they've come out with the Why Not 0.2, which I may be reviewing in a future video. Let me know in the comments below what shoe or what type of video you guys want to see next. But the price point, original price point, coming in at $125 just adds to that fire rating, because one, it's an affordable shoe and it's a really good performing shoe. So with that being said, if you guys like the content I create here on my channel, feel free to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, comment on this video. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Also, if you guys want to see me review something like the Why Not 0.2 or the Nike PG3 or even the Kyries, let me go on ahead, let me know in the comments below whether you guys want to see that. And with that being said, it's been Adrian, and I'm out. Peace.